You have analyzed the text messages until the pixels burned into your retinas. You have replayed the conversations in the theater of your mind, searching for the exact moment the energy shifted. One moment, the connection felt profound, ancient, inevitable. The chemistry was not just a spark, it was a recognition. You felt seen, you felt safe. And then, a sudden evaporation. The silence sets in. The distance grows, not in miles, but in frequency. And you are left standing in the wreckage of a potential future that never happened, asking yourself the same agonizing question: what is wrong with me? Did I say too much? Was I too intense? Why does everyone I try to hold on to slip through my fingers like water? I want you to take a deep breath. Let your shoulders drop. Listen closely. You are not cursed. You are not broken. And contrary to what your anxiety is whispering to you right now, you are not unlovable. You are simply a solid soul trying to build a home in an era of liquid love. We are living through a profound shift in human history, a shift that the sociologist Zygmunt Bauman called liquid modernity. We have moved from a world of solids, lifelong commitments, steady communities, and deep roots to a world of fluids. Everything changes, everything flows, nothing holds its shape. And this is why your heart hurts. Today, we are going to look at the architecture of your pain. We are going to deconstruct why the avoidant soul pulls away, not because of who you are, but because of what the world has become. And by the end of this time together, we will dissolve the guilt you have been carrying for connections that were never built to hold your weight. Let us look at the reality of the modern landscape without flinching. To understand why your heart is breaking, we must first understand the ground upon which you are standing. For thousands of years, human connection was an anchor. It was a survival mechanism. If you severed a bond with your tribe or your partner, you risked death. Relationships were heavy by necessity. They carried the weight of duty, honor, and survival. You did not leave a partnership simply because the spark faded or because the conversation grew stale. You stayed because your life depended on the solidity of that union. But today, we live in the age of the light. We have entered what the sociologist Zygmunt Bauman called liquid modernity. We have moved from a world of solids, defined by lifelong commitments and deep roots, to a world of fluids. In this new era, we are taught that freedom is the ultimate virtue. We are conditioned to keep our options open, to upgrade our lives, and to optimize our experiences as if life were a software update. In a liquid world, nothing holds its shape for long. Everything changes, everything flows. And this shift in the architecture of society has fundamentally altered the architecture of love. This is why your heart hurts. You are trying to practice an ancient form of love in a modern world that has forgotten how to hold it. In this liquid landscape, a partner is no longer viewed as a fellow traveler on a long, arduous journey. A partner becomes a product. They become a source of dopamine, a distraction, or an accessory to a curated lifestyle. When you, the holder of space, meet someone in this modern marketplace, you are often operating on a completely different operating system. You are looking for a union. You are searching for the alchemical merging of two souls. You are looking for something solid, something that can withstand the storms of time. But the unawakened counterpart is often looking for a sensation. This is where the tragedy begins. It is not that they do not feel the chemistry with you. In fact, the chemistry often terrifies them. In a liquid world, solidity feels like a trap. When you offer deep intimacy, deep consistency, and deep presence, you are offering something heavy. To a nervous system wired for the lightness of modern dating, your depth does not feel like a gift. It feels like an anchor tied to a swimmer who only wants to float on the surface. You view commitment as a refuge, a place to rest your weary head. They view commitment as a restriction, a cage that limits their infinite potential choices. We must also look at the profound role of consumerism in our spiritual lives. We have been trained to treat objects with a return policy. If a phone slows down, we replace it. If a shirt tears, we discard it. If a car makes a noise, we trade it in. Tragically, this mindset has bled into the realm of the soul. We have commodified the human heart. When the unawakened counterpart encounters the first moment of friction, the first trigger, or the first demand for vulnerability, their conditioning kicks in. They do not ask how to repair the breach. They do not ask how to grow through the discomfort. Instead, they ask if there is a newer, easier version of this connection available elsewhere. This is the tyranny of the next best thing. It is not necessarily malice that drives them away. It is a fragility of the spirit. It is an inability to sit in the fire of transformation. They have been promised a life of endless ease and endless choice, and the messy, complex reality of true intimacy contradicts that promise. So when they pull away, you must understand the mechanics of their departure. They are not rejecting you. They are rejecting the heaviness of reality itself. They are choosing the liquidity of potential over the solidity of the present moment. They are choosing the fantasy of what could be over the work of what is. You are standing there with bricks and mortar, ready to build a cathedral, while they are looking for a tent they can fold up and move when the wind changes. This is not a failure of your worth. It is a structural incompatibility between a soul seeking the eternal and a world obsessed with the temporary. Now let us go deeper into the metaphysics of your own soul to understand the root of this agony. We must ask why this particular separation feels different than others. Why do you, the anxious heart, feel like you are physically dying when the connection is severed? It is because you are unwittingly projecting your own divinity onto them. Carl Jung spoke of the God image, the internal source of wholeness and light that resides within every human psyche. When we are disconnected from our own source, we tend to project that source onto another person. We make them the sun, and we unknowingly agree to become the planet orbiting them. We hand them the keys to our sense of worthiness. So when that sun disappears, we are not just lonely. We are left in absolute, freezing darkness. But here is the shift I need you to make today. You must look at the structural reality of what you were trying to create. You have been trying to build a castle on the ocean. You have been bringing your bricks, your mortar, your ancient wisdom, and your capacity for unconditional love. And you have been trying to lay a foundation on water. You have labored tirelessly. You have poured your energy into this construction, believing that if you just worked hard enough, the water would turn to stone. And every time the waves crash and wash your efforts away, you blame yourself for being a bad builder. You tell yourself terrible stories. You say that if only you had loved harder, the water would have held you. You say that if only you had been more patient, the foundation would have set. You say that if only you hadn't asked for your needs to be met, the walls would not have collapsed. You must stop this narrative immediately. You cannot build a solid structure on a liquid foundation. The pain you feel is not the pain of loss. It is the pain of structural incompatibility. You are an old soul. You carry the energy of the earth, of the roots, of the eternal. You value things that last. You value the slow burn over the cheap fireworks. You are designed for legacy, for depth, and for endurance. The modern liquid environment is hostile to your nature. It is frantic. It is shallow. It is terrified of boredom. The unawakened counterpart, the one who runs from you, is often an avatar of this liquid world. They are mirroring the chaos of the collective consciousness. They are drifting with the current, terrified of being tied down. When you try to anchor them, they do not feel safety. They feel panic. Because to be anchored means they have to stop running from themselves. If they stop moving, they have to feel. And if they feel, they have to face their own shadows. They have to face the emptiness that their liquid lifestyle is trying to cover up. Your love is a mirror. It is a high-definition mirror that shows them their potential, yes, but it also shows them their inadequacy. It shows them how hollow their liquid life actually is. When you stand before them in your fullness, you are a reminder of everything they are not yet ready to be. And rather than rise to the occasion, rather than doing the work to meet you in the deep water, they smash the mirror. They ghost. They leave. They retreat into the shallow waters where it is safe, where nothing is asked of them, and where no one challenges them to grow. This is the paradigm shift you must integrate. Their departure is not a reflection of your worth. It is a reflection of their capacity. You offered them the ocean, and they were only equipped for a puddle. You offered them the stability of the earth, and they were only comfortable with the wind. Do not shrink yourself to fit into a space that is too small for your spirit. Do not apologize for your solidity. The fact that they could not hold you does not mean you are too heavy. It means they are too light. So how do we navigate this terrain without losing our minds? How do we exist as solid souls in a liquid world without becoming bitter, cold, or cynical? How do we protect our soft hearts without closing them behind iron gates? The answer does not lie in changing the world, for the tides of modernity are too strong for any one person to turn back. The answer lies in changing how you stand within the world. I want to offer you 3 internal shifts. These are not manipulation tactics to get them back. These are not mind games to make them miss you. These are strategies to get you back. These are the pillars of your own emotional architecture. The first shift is perhaps the most difficult for the empathetic heart. You must revoke the role of the container. Many of you, especially those with a nurturing spirit, have been socialized to believe that love means holding space for someone else's dysfunction. You have been taught to be the emotional shock absorber. You process the emotions they cannot feel. You do the spiritual homework for both of you. You analyze their childhood trauma to excuse their present-day neglect. In a liquid dynamic, you unknowingly become the harbor. You stand still, weathering the storms, keeping the lights on, while they remain the boat that comes in only to refuel before leaving again for the open sea. You must stop being the harbor for ships that have no intention of staying. You are not a rehabilitation center for emotionally unavailable souls. When you feel that familiar urge to over-understand their bad behavior, stop. When you find yourself playing the role of the therapist rather than the partner, stop. That is you acting as a container. You are trying to catch water with your hands, terrified that if you let it drop, it will disappear. Let their liquid nature simply be liquid. Let it fall. Observe it. But do not try to hold it. If they cannot regulate their own emotions, it is not your duty to regulate them for them. By stepping back, you force them to face their own gravity. The second shift requires a ruthless, honest look at your investments. You must discern the transactional from the sacred. You approach relationships as sacred. You view connection as a temple, a place of worship and reverence. But they may be approaching it as transactional. They may view connection as a marketplace. Before you invest the gold of your heart, you must test the ground. You must ask if this person is capable of solid behavior. Solidity has a very specific signature. It looks like consistency over intensity. It looks like uncomfortable conversations instead of silence. It looks like repair attempts after a rupture. In the liquid world, when something breaks, we throw it away. In the solid world, when something breaks, we fix it. If you see high intensity followed by silence, you are dealing with liquid energy. If you see passion followed by a refusal to communicate, you are dealing with a consumer, not a partner. Do not invest your solid gold into a liquid bank account. It will wash away, and you will be left bankrupt. You must demand evidence of solidity before you offer the depths of your soul. This is not being guarded. This is being wise. You are the guardian of your own temple, and you must stop leaving the doors wide open for tourists who only want to take pictures and leave. The third shift is the most liberating truth of all. You must become your own anchor. The era of finding safety in another person is ending. The external world is too volatile, too fast, and too unpredictable to be your source of stability. You must source your safety from within your own being. This means your nervous system cannot depend on a text message to feel regulated. It means your sense of worth cannot fluctuate with their attention. You must build a life so rich, so deep, and so connected to your own spirit that a partner is a beautiful addition to your temple, not the foundation of it. When you are truly solid within yourself, a strange thing happens. You stop chasing the liquid. You stop finding the runner attractive. The anxiety that you once mistook for passion begins to fade. You actually start to find their inconsistency boring. This is the ultimate sign of healing. When the chaos that used to excite you starts to bore you, you have won. When you crave peace more than you crave the highs and lows of the chase, you have ascended. You realize that you do not need them to anchor you because you have learned how to anchor yourself. You become the mountain, and the mountain does not chase the wind. The mountain simply is. And in that stillness, you find the love you have been seeking all along. We are living in strange times. The threads of connection are fraying. The world is moving faster than the human heart was designed to handle. But you are the exception. If you are still watching this, you are one of the keepers. You are one of the few who still remembers how to love deeply, how to commit fully, and how to weather the storm. Do not let the liquid world convince you that you are obsolete. Do not let the coldness of modern dating turn your heart into stone. The world does not need more ice. It needs more fire. It needs more depth. Your task is not to change yourself to fit into the shallows. Your task is to stand firmly in your depth and wait for the one who is brave enough to swim out to meet you. They're out there. There are other solid souls wandering this liquid landscape, looking for a lighthouse. But they will never find you if you dim your light to match the darkness around you. Stay solid. Stay deep. And trust that what is meant for you will not dissolve. If you found clarity here, you may join us.